It easy, you know. You interfere with my afterlife's work? You filthy swine, you're blind to the life I give my creations. Then very well, I will show you the mastery of my art. Hello, and welcome back to Let's Play Luigi's Mansion. As you can see, we have now entered the artist studio. This is the final room containing the final portrait ghost of the game. And as you can see, we are up for a little bit of a challenge here. This is Vincent van Gogh. He is the artist that actually created and released all of these ghosts in the mansion. So what we have to do here is, of course, take all of the regular ghosts out one by one, or I guess 3 by 3, as they are being released 3 at a time. And then, of course, we will have the opportunity to capture Vincent van Gogh himself. So yeah, really nothing too complicated here. We've pretty much done this already, especially during the blackout section of the game where we have several ghosts pretty much coming at us at once. So yeah, nothing that we haven't seen already. So we're gonna go ahead and see what we can do here. These are my least favorite ghosts, of course, the big blue ghosts that do this little earthquake attack that essentially stun us for a long period of time. However, it looks like we are down to the last one. The key here to kind of get through this section a little bit quicker is, of course, try to stun all 3 ghosts at the same time and then capture them all at once. Not as easy as it sounds, but it can be done. I have done that many times before. And of course, we have the Strangler ghosts here. We're familiar with them as well. They have 20 HP, so nothing too crazy here. Just want to try to avoid their freaking arms. That way they don't wrap themselves around us, choking us out. That's not something we want to do, especially now. Especially knowing that we are this far and this close to the end of the adventure. And next up, it looks like we have the Shy Guy ghost. So again, nothing new here. Just want to go ahead and suck up their mask and then we can capture them. Yeah, I actually do kind of like this idea for this fight being the final of the portrait ghost, because you are pretty much challenged in a way where it's just kind of cool to be able to capture all of these ghosts all together and to be able to see them being released out of their paintings. And essentially is how they were all released in the mansion. So kind of cool how they give a little bit of a backstory to how all these ghosts originated in the mansion. I know the Boos created the mansion, but then of course Vincent van Gogh was the one to essentially fill it up with all of these, of course, pesky ghosts. So it looks like we have the DK ghost now. Again, this one probably a little more challenging than the rest because they throw all these bananas on the floor, but again, nothing that we haven't seen already. They do have the most HP out of all of the regular ghosts, so we just want to make sure that we are being careful where we're walking and getting them into a corner as much as we possibly can. Looks like there's only one left to get, so we'll go ahead and suck him right up. That sounds horrible, but that's exactly what we're doing. So and then, of course, our good friends, the ceiling ghosts, I like to call them, as they only have 0 HP, so if we can just get them all at once, this shouldn't be too bad. Okay, not too bad. We got one there. Not too bad. One there, and we got another one, and we have the final guy right there. And he's clapping his hands very happily, but little does he know he's going to get sucked up. And that should be it. My creations. But even if I disappear, my work will live on. That is right. Necessitas, art is eternal. Oh? You say that only one of my creations is left? But this cannot be. Zutoros. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what that phrasing means. I'm sure there's somebody out there that knows exactly what it means and it's obvious, but that's enough to expose his heart. If we read it, now does he grasp his power of my creations? So yeah, this guy is essentially the penultimate boss of the game. Just like every other portrait ghost, he does have 100 HP. And weirdly enough, he is one of the easiest portrait ghosts to capture. As you can see, he's not putting up much of a fight at all. Just get him in a nice corner and you should easily get a golden frame on Vincent van Gogh. That'll light up the artist studio, giving us what appears to be our final giant key. And it is the Spades key. So the Spades key is actually going to unlock the very final door we will actually be entering that's located down in the basement. So yeah, if you thought this was the final room, technically that's correct, but we still have one more door to unlock. And even though we don't have another area or section of the game, we are given a spades key to complete the 4 keys to our, of our collection. Want to go ahead and capture this boo in here. There's actually 2 more boos I must have missed somewhere throughout the mansion in a previous section. But for now, we're going to take care of Boutique, which that's kind of fitting, knowing that we are in the artist studio. And of course, it's going to run ragged here, sending me all over the 3rd floor. But yeah, we're going to have to do a little bit of backtracking so we can go ahead and find those other 2 boos, because that will complete our boo collection once we're done. Alright, just wanted to kind of skip ahead to me capturing Boutique because it kind of threw me all around the room here.
Well done, Luigi, my boy. This time I have a special bit of information for you. You've seen some small ghosts other than the boos, haven't you? Well, I'm pretty sure they're ghosts freed.
But yeah, I love how he's telling us this as we just captured the guy. He's giving us a hint on, Vincent Van Gogh, but we just captured him, so that's irrelevant. Didn't know he actually still told you that even though you just captured him. But anyways, if you notice, go into our menu here, we have collected every single portrait ghost that there is to find within the mansion. We have all 22 right here, looking nice and pretty. And we have actually gotten a golden frame on every single one. The first time I have ever done that in my life on the GameCube version. We're really on either version. So I feel pretty proud of myself, and I'm glad I was able to get it on recording. So now there's only one thing left to do. Well, there's actually 2 things left to do. 1 is to go backtrack to get the other 2 boos, and then 2 is to, of course, face our final confrontation. So I went ahead and traveled all the way back to the ballroom, and it appears that I am kind of dumb. So if you remember way back in the early parts of the adventure where we first discovered the boos in this area, well, I completely forgot to go back into these 2 rooms. Yeah, these 2 rooms were... actually, I was able to get these boos way back in, like, the beginning of Area 2, and I just completely forgot to go back and backtrack into these rooms. So we have Boo La La in the ballroom, and then, of course, we have the other room right next to it, where I'm sure the other boo is. I had to look in several different rooms throughout the mansion, because I could not remember for the life of me where I was missing boos, and it turns out... I simply didn't backtrack into these 2 rooms when I went to backtrack up to the rooms where you face the first area boss. I just, for some reason, it didn't hit me that I had to go back and find the boos in here. So as soon as you discover the boos in this room the first time you're here, you can actually go back and get the boo in this room as well as the ballroom, and I just simply didn't do that. Here's the final boo, and it is, of course, Game Boo. What other name... for a boo for our final one? It looks like we're gonna get him right here in one shot. Not too bad. That makes number 50, and look at that.
Well done, Luigi, my boy. This time I have a special bit of information for you. Hey, since you're cleaning the place up anyway, would help.
Yeah, we've watered all the plants, man. We've pretty much watered every single plant we can. At least the ones that drop the colored stones, so not too bad. And as you can see, yeah, your reward for collecting all 50 boos is another gold diamond. That is the second and last gold diamond of the game. We're going to pick that guy up because he is the most valuable gem to collect in the entire mansion. So now we have 2 of them. So I think you understand where this is kind of going when it comes to our final total. When it comes to our gem collection, that's going to put us way ahead of the game when it comes to our final money amount. But now that we have done that, go ahead and save here. Yeah, Toad's still a little, he's a little bit more PTSD from the blackout. He just hasn't got over that yet, even though that was quite a while ago. But as you can see, if you're looking at the sides of the screen, I have just 2 more gems left to find. There's 1 blue colored stone, and there's also a red diamond. We're going to be getting those, of course, but first, what we want to do is actually head back down to the basement, because this is it. We are actually done with the backtracking. Those 2 jewels that I have not collected, we will find in one final room, and we're heading there right now. So going through the cellar, this is where we actually want to head. Because as you know, that spades key, get rid of these freaking ceiling ghosts first, is actually going to lead us into this room directly right here in front of us. This is it. This is the final corridor leading to the final area. As you can see, floor 1 is done, floor 2 is done, and floor 3 is completely done. And of course, the rooftop is cleared out as well. The basement is basically cleared out other than this one hallway leading to one final room. This is it. Are you ready for this? The mansion is just about cleared out entirely, other than this section here. As you can see, the spades key goes to that door. That's going to be our final door that we will be unlocking in the mansion. And if I don't burn my ass too bad right before we enter, we can do this in a very epic manner. All right, just wanted to make a few final adjustments there, but we are now going to enter this final door, which is already open to us. Just going to take a look at our totals here again. Again, we're just missing one blue colored stone and one red diamond. But if we go over here, we will notice another door with vines on it. It's the final one. We'll get a nice good look at it. I love how the little movement of the vines there is kind of in rhythm with the music. Very epic. Nice little final epic showdown here. But we're going to go ahead and unlock the final vine door. And fun fact, you can actually not access this door until you have at least 40 boos. I did not show it, but there is a special scene that plays of King Boo scaring you away from here if you do not have at least 40 boos. So I just want to point that out in case anybody was wondering that there is a funny little scene that plays where he essentially sends you back to the entrance of the mansion if you do not have at least 40 boos. So keep that in mind. You do need to have at least 40 boos to enter this door if you're not going for 100%. As you can see, this room looks familiar. We've seen this before when we entered the well from outside. What in the world is this? It is Mario, Super Mario, trapped in a painting by the evil and gruesome King Boo, staring at him in a very menacing and creepy way. We have entered King Boo's quarters here. Before you move a single inch, suck up this chandelier hanging from the ceiling, and that is where you're going to find the last blue colored stone. Very important. It's very, very easy and actually the most skippable gem of the game because, of course, it's very tempting just to go ahead and run up to King Boo to take him on. Don't do that if you're looking to get all the colored stones because your last blue one's going to be right here. We're going to take a final look at our collectibles here. As you can see, we have all 23 portrait ghosts, and I forgot you can actually go into their bios here and read that. I probably should have did that a long time ago with each of them. But that's okay because it's all right. I think you know pretty much all there is to know about these guys. This game's been out for quite a while, and I've kind of went through their, kind of described them a little bit as we've went through, tackled them one by one. There's a gold bar actually in that little thing there. That's where we entered from the well, that little creepy lion monster looking head thing. Mario. Call for Mario, even though we see him right in front of us, and...
Ah, I could just stare at my Mario painting for hours. It's true what they say about fine art. It takes utterly refined sensibilities to truly appreciate it. The way you plead for help, Mario, I find it so satisfying. Perhaps that is merely because I remember how much trouble you've caused me in the past. Seriously though, who actually would think that mansions get given away in contests? Talk about stupid. What do they feed you Mario Brothers anyways? Gullible soup? Your brother came all this way just to get turned into a painting. It's just terrific. However, this Mario painting looks lonely. I must have a Luigi painting as well. Then my gallery will truly be complete. Bleh! I'm not afraid of you, fool. I fear only that infernal Poltergust 3000 you carry on your back, stupid machine. But I am a king among boos, I swear it. I shall fear no mere house-cleaning device. I must say, I despise the way you vacuumed up all my friends. Don't imagine that I'll flee. I'll fight you like a true boo. Now join your brother inside the painting.
Is that Bowser? Welcome to the final fight of the game. This is the fight against King Boo himself. And as you can see, Madame Clairvoyant was not steering us wrong. She did in fact see Bowser in one of her visions. So yes, King Boo is actually going to take the form of Bowser. What you want to do is wait for those spiked balls to be thrown from Bowser, and then if you suck it up with your Poltergust 3000, you can launch it directly at the fake Bowser's head, exposing King Boo himself. That will then give you the opportunity to suck him up as much as you possibly can. King Boo has the most amount of HP out of any ghost you have faced up until this point. He has a total of 500 HP, so this guy is no joke. This fight itself is not too difficult, in my opinion, but it can take quite a bit of time, and there's a lot of opportunities to take quite a bit of damage. As you can see, Bowser will charge at you directly, causing you to take quite a bit of damage if you are not careful to move out of his way. Again, wait for those spike balls to be thrown. Avoid any direct hits, and you should be good for this fight. You want to make sure you keep at least 90 HP if you're going for a golden frame, like I am here. He will breathe fire on you, so make sure you stay the hell out of the way, as I didn't there, of course. This is not going well at the jump here. Already lost 10 HP. But you want to steer clear of his flame trail. If you step anywhere in that trail of fire, you will take 10 damage at least, maybe more. King Boo, again, you just want to wait till he's exposed, and then you can suck him up as much as possible. I do believe you are forced to do at least 4 or 5 rounds of this, so wow, we already have about half of his HP done already. This can take you multiple tries if you are going for a golden frame. If you're not and you don't care, this fight is pretty much cake. You just want to steer clear again of Bowser's movements and make sure that when you grab a hold of those spike balls, that you do not hold them for too long, because they will explode after a certain amount of time, so you want to make sure that you have a good position in order to launch it at Bowser's head. Again, once you do, you go in for the kill. And I have to say, I love the fact that this fight takes place on the rooftop of the mansion. What better area of the mansion to have a fight as epic as this one than the top of the damn mansion? Love it. As you can see, as King Boo takes more damage, he will eventually go back into Bowser's body, but his head will be turned upside down after a certain amount of time. This will cause Bowser to stumble and not really be able to see where you are, so he will have a little bit of a hard time finding you. However, his movements will be a lot more unpredictable and a little bit sporadic. Again, just steer clear of his movements, and again, you should be fine. He will break a lot of these little stone pillars at the top. I think they might release hearts. Sometimes they release poison shrooms. You just want to be careful of where he's going. And again, do not hold these spike balls for too long, because again, they will explode. That's really all there is to this fight. Again, not too difficult. Unless you're going for a golden frame like I am, then it can get a little tricky. But as you can see, we went ahead and captured King Boo, and we got the jewel from the crown on his head, and we can actually add that to our collection, and that will count as the final red diamond. And of course, who would be calling us at a time like this other than Egad?
Luigi, you did it. Truly remarkable, my boy. I supplied the Poltergust 3000, but you ran with it all the way to the top, Sonny. You made me so proud. Get a hold of yourself, God. What's that? You found King Boo? He jumped into a painting of Bowser, you say? He even blew fire at you? Well, in all my years of ghost research, I've never heard such a fantastical tale. And that career spanned 60 years, mind you. Why, I still recall starting out as a young whelp who trembled at the mere thought of a ghost. Trembled, I say. Oh, beg your pardon, this old brain goes recollecting every now and then. I could sit down and fill a week spinning ghost yawns. Why, just last... Right. Well, anywho, Luigi, grab your brother's painting and bring him to the lab. This poor little fellow's fallen asleep. He must have just collapsed with relief and exhaustion when he saw you arrive. I'll get that machine ready to return your brother to his former state, alrighty? I'll be expecting you both.
Very nice. At last, we can return our brother Mario to corporeal form, where he belongs.
This'll mess with your head. All your hard work lasted only a single night. Well done, Luigi. The mansion those boos built disappeared into the night. But that treasure seems to be real. I have no interest in such stuff, so go on and keep it all. Use it however you like.
Very nice.
Say what? Enough rattling on about money. I guess we'd better get your brother back then. Of course, your brother's really important, but first we have to take care of these last ghosts.
All right, so we are now depositing the last portrait ghost into the ghost portrificationizner, or however the hell you say it. I struggle with saying it. As you can see, the Bowser head and King Boo have been deposited as well, so they will actually count as an extra portrait ghost for the paintings that we're going to put them into.
The ghosts are invisible, so we need to press them into visible forms. And presto, turn them into beautiful ghost portraits.
Beautiful gold frame of King Boo and Bowser there. We have a nice one of Jarvis. We have Soupy, one of the optional portrait ghosts, as well as Jarvis. We have Vincent Van Gogh. And we have Uncle Grimly. We have the Clockwork Soldiers. We have Sir Weston, a nightmare of a fight. Don't want to even remember that.
I'd wager dollars to donuts that nobody but me has such lovely paintings.
All right. That is it for Area 4 in the final stretch of the game. Uncle Grimly, Jarvis, Vincent Van Gogh, Soupy, Clockwork Soldiers, Sir Weston, and King Boo. Look at that. The final of the Portrait Ghost, every single one in a golden frame. And I love the final frame there with King Boo and Bowser. That's my favorite one, of course. 23 total Portrait Ghosts. And we are now going to run down our final totals of all of our currency and gems. We have all 10 blue colored stones, all 10 green colored stones, all 10 red colored stones, 5 silver diamonds, 2 red diamonds, and of course 2 gold diamonds. And we're going to add our pearls up to that amount, giving us a grand total of over 133 million G's. That is it, ladies and gentlemen. That is it. We, of course, exceeded above the 100 million G requirement to get the ultimate best rank in the game. And as you can see, those gems and colored stones really add up to your total. So it's very important, especially if you're going for 100%, to collect every single one.
Mamma mia. Oh, oh, oh,
As you can see, as Luigi laughs like a crazed maniac, Mario has finally been released from the painting, and he is ready for his next big adventure. So that is it for Let's Play Luigi's Mansion. I have to say, I had a lot of fun with this one. This was one of the games that I grew up playing as a kid, and I have to say, every single time I play it, I enjoy it that much more each and every time. This was fun for me personally, and it was one of the games I definitely wanted to do during the fall season, during Halloween season, so I'm very excited that I was able to actually do this game and have it on my YouTube channel. And again, this was the very first time I was able to actually get a gold frame on every single Portrait Ghost. I'm not going to lie and say that every single one were cake, because they definitely were not. Especially the one right there, Sir Weston. A lot of these ghosts took me, well, maybe not a lot of them, but quite a bit took me quite a few tries, and I just only showed the final attempt on recording. Some were pretty easy, but a lot did give me a little bit of trouble. It was fun nonetheless, and it was also my first time gathering all of the collectibles. I have, of course, gathered all 50 boos in the past, but I have never ever tried to get all of the colored stones and the diamonds all in one go. Never done that before, so it was the first time for me doing that as well. But I am glad I was able to show it on recording for anyone that, happened to watch this. And again, I thank anyone that was watching this Let's Play from the beginning to the end. Again, one of my all-time personal favorite games, and I'm glad I got to share this with the internet. So, kind of corny, but for me, it was a very, very, very fun experience, and that's why I do this right now. I do this for fun. If it gives me an audience, it does. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. But I'm having fun at the same time, so that's all that really matters to me. But that's going to be it for Luigi's Mansion. We'll go ahead and roll the credits here with some amazing credit music. And yeah, that's pretty much going to be it. And so the matter of the ghost was settled. Professor Egad was so delighted to have all of his paintings returned that he used the treasure Luigi had found to build Luigi a new house. So this is it. So this is actually the final mansion. Your mansion is complete. Congratulations. This is Luigi's final mansion. We have the best ranking in the game. Rank A. If you're playing the 3DS version, you have the opportunity to get up to rank S, which is an even better mansion. But for the GameCube version, this is the best that it gets. And this is the end. So kind of cool how we get to transform the mansion into an actual mansion that Luigi can actually live in, or at least own.
Where will you go, Luigi?
So back in the lab, we have one more thing that I'd like to do, and that is, of course, go to the gallery. As you can see, we have another option here called the Hidden Mansion. This is essentially an additional, if you want to go ahead and play the game after the main story, you have the opportunity of going through a hidden mansion, which is essentially a harder version of the original mansion that we just took on. Feel free to do that. I typically don't ever try to do that. I don't think I've actually ever done it. But if you want a little bit more of a challenge and you are, not quite satisfied with the ghost hunting in the first main story portion of the game, knock yourself out and go ahead and take on that post-game mansion as well. Essentially the same exact mansion, except it's a lot more harder. A lot more ghosts will spawn in each room, and it's that more difficult to capture the portrait ghosts as well. As you can see, we have now wound up back in the gallery, and we're just going to go ahead and take a look at these portraits here before we end things off officially. The first time I've ever walked through the gallery, seeing all golden frames on my portrait ghost, so it's a sight to see, I have to say. Everybody's looking pretty cool in their portraits, I have to say. I love these portrait ghosts. They all have such character and uniqueness to them that they kind of feel like a giant family. Even though they were, villains essentially in the game, and they attacked us and tried to stop us from saving our brother Mario, and on behalf of King Boo's orders. As you can see, Boo Lost is there in the corner. We have Sir Weston there, giving us a creepy smile. Everybody looks really cool in their paintings, but if you go into this golden room like we saw before, you will notice the final painting of King Boo and Bowser is actually hung up on this wall right here. This was the room where I said something special is, going to be placed here. Well, it is actually the very final painting, and that's the King Boo painting. Very cool. This is what it looks like as a golden frame. Of course, all of these pictures will look slightly different depending on what color frame you get, if it's silver, bronze, or gold. So that's kind of cool. That officially marks painting number 23, and of course, we'll go ahead and take a look at some of these other ones. Yeah, you can actually hit A on the wall to get a closer view of them. I forgot about that. Clockwork Soldiers looking very menacing there. Take a look at some of the other ones here. We have, let's see. We can get it to hit. Come on, Luigi, tap on the right part. There's Madame Clairvoyant looking very mysterious. Love that. We have, let's see here. Take a look. Yeah, everybody's looking pretty cool. The twins right there on the right. Who's this? We have Vincent Van Gogh. Looking very artistic, if I must say so myself. We have the doggo there on the left. I see CP on the left. There's the dancing Rolindas. What do we have over here? Is this Melody? Come on, Luigi, stop knocking on the damn wall and let us see this picture. It is. It's Melody, the musician that we caught early on in the game. We have, of course, the butler, Shivers. He was one of the more eccentric ghosts that we found early on. We have, of course, Jarvis. I like that one. That one looks more cartoonish to me, but it's kind of fitting for him because he's kind of a weird looking ghost, just a head out of a pot. We have Biff Atlas looking almighty strong. And as you can see, yeah, your totals actually do reset if you go into the menu. So it's kind of disappointing. I think it would have been a good idea to just kind of keep all of the ghosts, all of the portrait ghost bios there, just so you can kind of read through them a little bit. But that's all right because we have the most important painting of them all, and that is the painting of Luigi's final mansion. And you can see again right there, one final time, your final total that you achieved in the game. So very cool indeed. Love seeing that number. I was hoping we get like 135 million G's, but I'll take 133 million. It's pretty cool. But we're going to go ahead and end things off here, gazing at the portrait of Luigi's final mansion. Again, thank you for watching, and I will see you on my next project.